What role does the Anne Arundel County Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families play in Anne Arundel County? Next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm honored to host Diana Taylor from the Anne Arundel County Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families right here in Anne Arundel County. Welcome, Diana, to Food for Thought.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here today.
Can you share, I always start all my shows with my favorite part of the segment, sharing with the viewers a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your role at the partnership.
Okay. Most people don't know that I'm originally from West Virginia. Born and raised. I really didn't come to Maryland until when I turned 25. And then I came to Maryland and started just working in all different types of positions. I even worked for a plastic surgeon at one point in time. So I've had several positions. And then eventually I moved to Anne Arundel County, where I then started working for the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families.
Okay. And you have some children, because I know we talk a little bit about our children. I always talk about my two. My two are on the show almost every time. It seems like I'm talking about them. So 4 children, are they still in Anne Arundel County, or did they all?
I only have one world traveler.
Okay.
And that's my youngest, Ezra. He just travels everywhere. He has no fear. He just gets up and goes. He's a traveling bartender, so therefore many times he looks for resorts and just goes. But he just recently settled in Seattle, Washington. So he's been there now for a year. I have a school teacher. My oldest is a school teacher at Belvedere Elementary School. And then I have another son that works for the partnership, and I have a daughter.
Wow. So Seattle's pretty far. And I know we've talked about my two are south, right? My two went south to school. They want to stay in the south. And you went... Your son went west.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Did you get to go out and see him often? Or?
I haven't. Normally he comes home.
Good.
But I do plan on going out maybe the first of the year.
Okay. Very good. So what is your role? I mean, you've had multiple roles. You and I do share some responsibilities together, which I know we'll talk about at the end of the show. But what is your current role at the partnership? My
current role right now is I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives. What that is under the direction of Dr. Pamela Brown. I just start programs and hit them up, and we take them and we just move with it.
Mm-hmm. And how many, there's multiple committees, partnerships, councils, right, that you would be responsible for? Or do you really, I mean, I know the one that we work on together, but I know you do so much more. So is it really, I guess the partnership's goal, right, is looking at multiple things, right, of food access just being one of them, right, or food insecurity or
Food insecurity, that's the Food Council, which we'll talk about later. But another great initiative that the partnership has is the Early Childhood Coalition. And what we're trying to do that all children can enter into school ready to learn. And so we're addressing several different things. Adequate child care centers, making sure that there's appropriate training for teachers, making sure that the blueprint is implemented. And so we're following all of that, and we're even dealing on the legislative level to see what changes can be enforced around child care.
And it's funny, you know, when you say like blueprint, you're just seeing our pre-K3 and our pre-K4 now. They're so tiny. Yeah. When you see them in a school, they're so small, and it's just so... I find it just amazing to watch them at the beginning, and then you can see them a month or two in, and just their confidence is being built. And it's quite amazing, but so different than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Absolutely. Think about a 3-year-old and thinking whether or not they're developmentally ready to enter into a school. But then once they get in and how they start adjusting and taking on that challenge, to me, it just shows that the mind is truly ready to be, being established at that early age, and that is the most important time of a child's life, is the first birth through 5.
Right. And it's fun to watch, I think, the mind and the brain, right, and them engaging in that ready to learn and the learning capabilities, but even the social capabilities, right?
I know.
Like they're just so quiet and they're not going to look or
Right.
and just watching them socially, interact as their groups and with their teachers and through the halls, right? So it could be our youngest learners with our, a 4th grader in the same hall or passing each other in the same hall.
Right.
So it's actually it's quite interesting. So that's the one, and then there's another. There's like the celebrating
Ideals.
There you
the
go.
Ideal Committee. I don't chair that. That's chaired by Tracy Cherry. But the Ideal Committee celebrates diversity and just educates us on being sensitive and being culturally minded at all times. That's the Ideal Committee.
And it's really a full-time job when I watch you. So like chairing our food council, I mean, it's a lot of moving parts. You have so many different partners, right?
Yeah.
So can you share with the viewers a little bit of, maybe let's even start with your internal teams.
Okay.
I was quite impressed. The other day I had the opportunity to meet, I think, 20 of your staff, right? And multiple teams.
Right.
So, and I'm probably asking a big task because there's so many, but could you just even highlight some of them? Because, I think you're, as the director of strategic initiatives, it's huge. But like when you see all of those pieces underneath you, share a little bit if you can.
Well, actually, Jodi, they're not underneath me. We're right on the same level. It's like bilateral, but and it's under the leadership of Dr. Pamela Brown. But we do have a lot going on at the partnership. The first one that I would like to just mention is our Family Stability Program. Our Family Stability Program was set up on the premises of housing homeless families and stopping families from becoming homeless. How do we do that? The reason why I like that program so well is because we just don't give them the monetary funds and say, here you go. We go in and do intensive case management anywhere from 6 months up to a year to make sure that those families are able to address their needs. And if they need to learn how to do budget, or if they need to learn how to maybe cut back on what they buy with their food stamp, their SNAP program or whatever, we're able to go into the house with the families and actually assist them with that.
Wow. So they're is that like a case manager or what?
It's a case manager, and it's under the Family Stability Program.
Okay.
So we have that, and then we also have Systems of Care. Systems of Care was a long time ago, you'll probably remember this, is that when people needed service, they had to go to social service. If they needed disability, they had to go to Social Security. Well, the Systems of Care connects those dots for people. So they're not running through, it's called one-door access.
Wow.
So they actually work with the families up to anywhere from 45 to 60 days. And they just help making those connections if those things need to come together. Under Systems of Care, we have something else called the Bricket. The Bricket is for homeless families that come, and you have all of the family-serving agencies sitting around the table. We talk about that family at one time instead of them having to go again to all the different agencies, and then they walk away with an actual plan. So we have Bricket, Cricket, and early childhood cricket. So all of those, the early childhood cricket works with children that have intellectual or maybe medically fragile.
Okay.
And parents are just having difficulties and need help. As I mentioned before, we have the Ideal Committee and we have the Community of Hopes, which is led by Tracy Cherry. And the Community of Hopes is in all 4 quadrants of the county. And with the Communities of Hope, what we're doing is addressing those communities. And as you know, in Anne Arundel County, all of the communities are different, and they have different needs, and they have different things that we need to address. So the Community of Hopes bring everybody that is like, let me say West County, everyone that has some sort of buy-in in West County or concern. They come together once a month. and we address those. Same thing for North County, South County, and Annapolis.
And I could just see it that it's building the relationships too. It's your partnership staff, right? So those teams that are working with the families,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a trust, right?
Yes.
And it's a true partnership to be there for that family, to have them be successful, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, both parent. I'm sure there's extended families, even all together, right? From grandparents,
Yes.
or even.
Well, under families, it's funny you should say that, because under family stability, we have a program called 2Gen that works with the whole household. So you could have the grandmother, the aunt, the uncle, whatever. Also at the partnership, we have something called kinship care, where that's where relatives are taking care of children that may not be their actual birth children. So we provide services for them. I cannot leave out Taiwan Thompson, because he does a lot too. He has a mentoring program. He also oversees the RED, and he has Teen Court. Teen Court is a program where first-time offenders can come and be, I'm not sure exactly, but it's just giving them a chance to come and talk about their issues and maybe do community service instead of getting a record.
And what's the mentoring? Is that with, is it mentoring, you know, are men mentoring young,
Well, not only men.
men and women?
Men and women.
Okay.
And it's just maybe some adolescents that are having trouble, mental health issues, or just maybe having trouble in any area of their life. And so they have a big brother, big sister, something like that.
Right. Wow. So that's really touching. And again, and I know we've talked about it. We talk a lot about it when we're in the Anne Arundel County Food Council, of if you map out Anne Arundel County and you see the pockets, probably for a lot of those same programs, do you see that they're in pockets and our resources are in the right place? I mean, I always say, like Anheuser-Buschelli, who we both know well from Department of Health, and we do a lot of food maps together. You don't want to see the picture of a concentration of poverty, or lack of affordable housing, or lack of family, you know, integrity or structure. But if you do see it, and we know that our resources are there, it makes you feel good. Like we're all looking at those specific areas to do what's right for those families and for those children.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So internal and external partners is also, so like that was a lot of your internal, and there were so many. Who are some of the external partners that would cross your path that you reach out to? I know we're one in Anne Arundel County, and we'll talk about that, but are there others that are either, in county, at the state level?
I do. I sit on the state level, and I actually chair distribution and access for the FSRC, Food System Resiliency Council.
Okay.
So really, that was a very strong inspiration why we have so many in the state of Maryland. We have food councils now here in the state of Maryland, because that was one of the directions from the state. And the reason why is because if you look at the state of Maryland, every jurisdiction is different. And so from the state, it would be hard to really, truly address food insecurity in every jurisdiction. But we started talking about it. Who best knows their communities than the community, right? The county. So that's how, I sit on that, and we meet monthly. And those are the things that we address. And then we provide things to the, make recommendations to the legislator, legislation to see, just as in regards to addressing food insecurity.
And who chairs that? Is that chaired at the state level then? Or?
Strickland.
Okay.
What's his name?
Yeah, I mean, because it is then, it's like a state, and then would your equivalent in Howard County be present?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it would be all 24 jurisdictions kind of together, or a representative in there. And then is there any like hospital?
Everybody.
Everybody.
And it's appointed. There's appointed positions.
Okay.
So we have everybody, because we know when you're dealing with food insecurity, it also has an effect on everything, our health, our mental health. So we need to address it from that point.
Any farmers?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I wonder if it's a farmer that we know. I always love when you pull the farmers in. I just think they're so genuine. They're like this true salt of the earth, right?
Right.
And it's amazing how passionate they always are for what they do. I mean, the farmers that we've worked with over the years are true friends of ours. There's 3 we work with all the time. It's Rush Schlegel. He's down in Charles County. Andy Harris. He's on the Eastern Shore. And then Kurt Pfeiffer, who's over in Wyoming, Delaware. All 3 of them. I really could probably pick up the phone right now and say, hey guys, I'm looking for some butternut squash, or I'm looking for cherry tomatoes. And they'd say, how many do you need? When do you need them?
Right.
And how would we coordinate it with our produce distribution? So that's great that they're on there too. And I'm sure they bring a whole different perspective to the table.
They do. And it's important to have them on there because to truly address food insecurity, we have to have everyone participate. Everyone that touches the food system needs to be a part.
So we learned the other day in a food council about, and it's going to be back to your resiliency committee, the tiered grocery stores, right? And I think I knew that, or I've heard that over years, but it was explained beautifully the other day in our Anne Arundel County Food Council. Would there be grocery stores or any tiered of the grocery stores as part of that committee, that state committee? Because again, where do they go? I think you had great discussion with us at the council of, if we picked on an area, or we pick an area of our county and there isn't a grocery store and it wasn't profitable in that area, like why is that? And if they do leave, there's only, almost fast food restaurants and then convenient type stores.
7-Elevens or something like that.
Which they're not going to serve healthy food.
Right.
It's not going to be affordable.
Right.
I shouldn't say that. I guess sometimes that stuff is less expensive.
You're absolutely right. It's not going to be affordable, and it also eats up the SNAP benefits rather quickly.
Right.
And it's mostly processed food. But it wouldn't, those would not be handled on the state level. That would be something more we would do on the local level.
Okay.
That's like what we need to address in our food council. How can we make a difference? If you look at, I'll just pick on West County right now. If you look on West County and a single mother needed to go to the grocery store, there's no sidewalks to walk their children down to the grocery store. And then the transportation, there's no transportation. And then when you get to the grocery store, it's not a tier 1 or a tier 2, it's probably a tier 3 or a tier 4. And having access to quality, healthy food is very slim to nothing. And then if you look at farmers markets, we don't have a lot of farmers markets in certain low-income areas. Why is that? Right. Again, that's something that we need to address on the Food Council to make sure that everyone has access to healthy food.
And what we discussed the other day in Food Council, and I think somebody watching is like, what does this tiered mean, right? Like, is there really grocery store tiers? And there is. But I think the most amazing part about that is a top tier grocer or grocery chain will have large produce.
Yes.
Lots of
parking.
Yes.
Easy
access. Multiple brands or varieties.
Yes.
As the tier goes down, the produce and the quality of that whole section, and I almost say we're like kind of snobby about our fruits and vegetables because we just love to serve as many as we can, and our students get to fill their trays with fruits and vegetables. So to me, that's like, I think I was shocked when I learned that the produce section then is much smaller. And when you think of some of the top tiers, the produce sections are huge.
And beautiful. And
colorful.
Things that you wouldn't even think about having, like guava or papaya. That's not in every grocery store.
Right. It's shocking when you learn those little pieces because I think often, I don't know, when you think of going to the grocery store, it's a grocery store. You're just going to maybe to the one closest to your home. But some of those top tier, all those, the variety, the colorful, the quality that is so exceptional. It's drawing people 10 miles, but can someone if you have no car.
Look at South County. If you go to South County, it's a rural area. If you don't have transportation, what grocery store are you going to go there to?
Right.
It's very difficult. If you look at North County, they did have a Lidl's there, but they closed it. You have busy Ritchie Highway, which is very, very busy to cross over with young ones. So just having, the quality food is not, the quality grocery stores are not in those neighborhoods.
And you mentioned the sidewalks on West County. That's the same thing in South County.
Yes.
All there is the little side on the road, and some of them, all it is the painted straight line, and then it's 12 inches and it's grass.
And how safe is that for parents with children to walk and be able to get their groceries, and then have to walk back home trying to maintain their groceries and look out after their children?
Right, with bags. And they'll be heavy, right?
Yeah.
It's just absolutely crazy. So where are some of these resources for somebody watching? So if they go to the partnerships website, I think you have so much information out there, which is great. I mean, even vision and mission, and it talks about a lot of those things you've already highlighted. Right. Is there another area we should send anybody watching for any specific resources? Like I always say, they should go to AACPS for us, but I'm particular to the meals. But they can learn about how to apply for a free or reduced price meal. They can see our menus. They can see the nutritional value of what we serve.
Right.
They get my number. They can call me. And I always say, call me if you want to see something on the menu. If you have a question about the nutrition, call me.
Well, they can just call the Partnership for Children, Youth, and Families. And we do have a 1-800 number. And I'm going to get in trouble because I don't remember it offhand.
Okay. But we'll be able to put it up.
Okay,
there we go. We'll put it right up on the screen, and we'll have it up there.
Okay,
good.
That's good. And then if they call the 1-800 number, we have a wonderful young woman on there by the name of Jessica that will answer the call, and she will screen the call, and then she'll dispatch it to whoever needs to handle that call. So normally a call is taken care of within 45 hours, if not less.
Okay, perfect. And it's one thing, I guess I'm particular to Anne Arundel County. I've only worked in Anne Arundel County. My prior job was in D.C., but once I came to the county, I just feel we are a very close-knit group.
Yes.
You have no problems picking up the phone calling me. I have no problems picking up the phone calling you. I don't see that everywhere, or I don't see the transparency that we have as our county, the collaboration of, is the health officer and Dr. Bedell working on something that they're already with Dr. Brown working on something, and they're already with our county executive. So
I think we're here in this county, we're very lucky to have the county executive, because during COVID, he really brought that's how we had the Food Council became established, because he saw that there was a need, and he saw that people were going, during that particular time, they were having a hard time addressing food. So therefore we established the pantries on the go, and we took them into high need areas where people could access quality food. So we do have that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Jodi. It's because of the collaboration that we work so well together.
And it's kind of fun because we recently had even some calls about, we're with the food bank, and like the Anne Arundel County Food Bank, and we have it on our wellness toolkit, has that interactive map.
Yes.
Where's a pantry? It's just so interactive. If you want the baby pantry, is it called the baby pantry? I think it's called the baby pantry.
Baby pantry.
So you can go, and there might be formula or the diapers or wipes and those types of things. I think it's unbelievable. And it's kind of fun because we just talked about resources. There was about 7 or 8 of us from the Food Council that all worked together. And it was interesting because everybody doesn't know your story, my story, maybe even Anne's story, whomever was with us.
Right.
But when we talked all that morning, I think it opened so many doors for all of us. Right. I think it was funny, like the one gentleman said, I can't believe that's really what you do, and you would be responsible for that and this. So I think we assume everybody knows what our roles are and what we touch when it comes to food, or in your case, all of your, strategic initiatives. I think they think I just serve breakfast and lunch, So I think it was funny. At the end of it, It was like, I can't believe you do all that. So I think it's really good. And we have a few minutes left, but on the Food Council, so it was established in 23, right? 23, a county executive appointed position.
Yes.
I have the honor to represent AACPS, so I always feel like I'm raising my hand. What can we do?
Right.
And there's about, I guess, is there 15 of us that are appointed as the voting members?
Yes, about that many, 15, yes.
And we meet monthly. There is a website for that, and there's a connection to that I know we'll put up on the screen.
And I just want to say that the Food Council meetings are open. Even if you're not an appointed member, you still can attend.
Okay, that's true, because we always have others joining us on the call. And multiple agencies, multiple partners. I think it's always, the discussion is robust. We just had a great presenter at our last council meeting who really talked about inequities of food access, right?
Right.
And I think your challenge to him was wonderful of how do we break that down though? We could see the painted picture when we look at the maps of AACP, of Anne Arundel County. How do we break that down? How do we get to those families, right?
And how do we teach them how to sustain? How do we start making sure that not only some, but everyone has access to a Tier 1 store? How do we become more culturally sensitive to individuals that may like callaloo and can't get callaloo? So those are the things that the Food Council really needs to work together on. But we have been able to address a lot of things right now with the food bank, Anne Arundel County Food Bank. We have been, they have the mobile pantry now, and they have a lot of pantries that are giving out food weekly to our residents here in Anne Arundel County.
And so many partners doing it, so many faith-based organizations.
Absolutely.
I love them, right?
None of us could do, none of us could address food insecurity if it was not for our faith base. And they just get out and they do it.
Yeah, no questions asked.
No questions asked.
We were at a Food Council meeting, and it was going to be a food distribution site, and families were lining up hours.
It was at 1 o'clock, and the distribution actually started at 4.
Yeah.
So, and this is everywhere. This is not, a lot of people say, oh, there's no food insecurity in Severna Park. Oh, there's no food insecurity. But food insecurity is all across Anne Arundel County. It has, some pockets are greater than others, Jodi, but food insecurity can hit anyone. We saw that during the pandemic. People could be making 6 figures and all of a sudden don't have a job.
Right.
Or lost their job. So food insecurity has no name.
Right. And I think what's so key is it's the partnership for children, youth, and families. It's all of your internal and external partners that make the difference, right? Yeah. And I know together we're going to be able to do it.
Yes, I agree.
So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And just thank you for being you. I really, really enjoy being part of your team.
Thank you.
As you can see, the partnership for children, youth, and families is so key to everything that we do in Anne Arundel County. If you have any questions about the school meals program, always call me at 410-222-5900. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.